Hello and welcome to this very first edition, potentially one of many. We'll see how it goes. So, to those of you who may not know me very well or don't know me at all, I'd just like to start by introducing myself. My name is Beth Draper, as you can see potentially from my Facebook name. This is a crazy idea that I've just literally thought of today. Recently, I was looking through one of my art history books and I forgot how much I love talking about paintings. It's actually came about because I was studying for one of my most recent job interviews, but actually I remembered how much I had a passion for it, so I decided to put it into a video instead. Hello, and thank you so much for tuning in to Behind the Paintings with Beth. So why have I decided to do this? Well, good question. The idea came to me earlier as I was washing the dishes, of all things, and it's purely because I have a passion for paintings, a love for art, and also I really care about those of you out there right now who can't get to their art class. I have a lot of years of reading and just art gallery visits and enthusiasm and passion for the subject that I would like to share with you, whoever you may be tuning in. Thank you for tuning in if you have, just to show my appreciation to the artists of the past and to bring a bit of fun into our days whilst we're stuck at home. So, in our first talk, Behind the Paintings, the first painting we're going to be talking about today is Vincent van Gogh's Sunflowers. Here is a little example in my History of Art book, and I'll also put one up on the screen which is in greater detail. So what I aim to do is break this down into 5 different sections as I talk, trying to be as swift as I can. So as we talk about the paintings of the past and the message behind the paintings, number 1, the artist and a little bit about their life and their biography. Secondly, the painting title and the year it was painted. Thirdly, the message and the meaning behind the painting. And 4th, the colours and composition used, and in particular the media that was used. Then finally, we're going to end on point 5, which is open to all of you out there. You're more than welcome to comment or leave your thoughts, which is essentially, what are your thoughts? So tell me, what are your thoughts? What would you like to hear? What would you like to add? So we're going to talk about, as I've said, about the sunflowers painted by Vincent van Gogh in 1888. So we're going to start by talking about the artists themselves, just a little bit of information about where they were born, etc., who they are, a little bit about their life. And so Vincent van Gogh, he was born in the Netherlands. He was born on March the 30th in 1853. So it's going to be his birthday anniversary soon. So it's just as well I chose him to talk about for my first video. So over Van Gogh's lifetime, he actually created more than 800 paintings and drawings for us all to enjoy, which is incredible. He actually discovered his passion for art in 1880, and he spent the majority of his life actually in the Netherlands, but then he ventured down to Paris and eventually the south of France, which is where he painted the sunflowers. One interesting fact about Vincent van Gogh, actually, that I've only just realised myself, which I think is actually pretty fascinating. He studied the Bible in 1875, and by 1876 he was an assistant pastor. I had no idea that he was a pastor or was a believer as well, so that's fantastic. So in 1888, as well as him producing the wonderful sunflowers that we know and love and cherish today, which is still in the National Gallery as we speak, I believe, he unfortunately cut his ear off due to a disagreement with his then friend Paul Gauguin. Apologies if I've pronounced his name wrong. I'm terrible at accents and other languages sometimes. He unfortunately ended up in a psychiatric institution called St. Remy, but that's where he painted Starry Night, one of his other most beautiful and cherished paintings of our time, which I absolutely adore. It is then in 1890, after only a very short life, Van Gogh passes away on the 29th of July. So one of the things Van Gogh actually mentions about his sunflower painting, when he was producing the sunflowers, this is directly quoted from Van Gogh himself. He said, "When I produced the sunflowers, I looked for something opposite, yet of equal value," which I really, really appreciate the fact that he's talking about trying to produce a work of art that relates to absolutely everybody. So I think what he means is when he's saying, I looked for something opposite but of equal value, sunflowers obviously are a flower. Flower represents life. Sunflowers represent being out in the sun. When you think of a sunflower, you imagine them being in a field in Italy somewhere, growing beautifully and tall, and you imagine the sun shining, beaming down on them and giving them life and light. And I wonder whether that was his way of saying this is just as important as trying to overcome any negativity in life that may well be represented through death. I know some of his other works, one in particular called The Cypresses, which he painted in 1889, was actually inspired from a cypress tree that you usually used to find in Mediterranean graveyards in that era. And I think the sunflowers had the same sort of feel behind them and the same message, in the respect that he was trying to say that sunflowers give life. Sunflowers are a positive flower. Sunflowers are a positive message, in the sense that we can all own a pot of sunflowers if we wanted to. And it wasn't long ago, actually, a week after me and my husband got married, we went down to a local field where you could actually pick your own lavender and pick your own sunflowers. And we actually came back with more sunflowers than we did lavender. We had a lovely vase of sunflowers for about a month. They lasted, and it was so joyful just having them in our living room. They almost represented the beginning of a new season, which was, you know, our marriage was the beginning of a new season in our lives. One of his signature styles was actually using swirly brush strokes that you can see normally in Starry Night is a very good example, which you can see here. But in terms of his use of colour, he became obsessed with bright colours, which is evident in the backdrop for the sunflowers, being so vivid and bright and so full of life. I believe that this was painted using oil on canvas. I absolutely love the accent colours that he's used in the definitive detail here. Like, he's used different types of yellows, oranges, ambers. The green also has like a yellowy feel to it. He's put a lot of yellow in the green as well. I think the background was laid down before he actually painted the sunflowers. But even so, it doesn't matter how he actually, which way around he did it, but the composition, as you can see, if you were to say, make the sunflowers into a silhouette, as you can see here, what I find incredible is that the background, what some may say may be called negative space, you can still tell it's the sunflowers. It's one of those paintings that will just be timeless. And over the years, no matter what happens, we can look to this painting and we'll always know that they're the sunflowers. They're happy, they're joyful, they're jolly, and everybody should have a sunflower in their life. Yeah, sunflowers are really special, and thank you, Van Gogh, for painting such beautiful flowers and telling us and reminding us that there is more to life. When you look at a beautiful sunflower, you think of the imagery and the reasons and the message behind why you painted them. There's always hope in a painting, and I think that's what sunflowers brings us. It brings us a bit of hope. So that's it for the sunflowers edition. Please comment below your thoughts, any ideas you may have as well, anything you'd like to contribute as well, and any discussion points. I'll happily reply to your comments. One of the main reasons that's encouraged me to do this is because of the situation we're in. I felt it was put on my heart earlier today to start recording these. I really hope with all my heart that it blesses some of you out there, and it helps educate some of you who may well not have known about certain paintings before, or who may not have known certain information about certain artists before. So thank you very much for your time listening, and I'm ever so grateful for you tuning in. Take care, bye.